What we've learned in the first hole is the system is real. The rocks are real, the mineralization is real, the age of the event that happened, the neighboring mines next door being on this big trend, all of this is real. You just heard Dave talk about everything that we wanted to see is there, and it's actually better than we thought it would be.
When it comes to mining stocks, precious metals, and cryptos, you need to go to Mining Stock Wealth. And welcome, this is Kerry Lutz, and you are watching Mining Stock Wealth. Got some interesting news here today. You know, these have been really difficult times for the exploration sector, for precious metals in general, from health issues, travel restrictions, assay lab backups, and of course, a very unforgiving stock market that has left many of you investors disillusioned and discouraged and seeking other places to put your capital. However, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and things are moving rapidly ahead, especially at our sponsor, Tier 1 Silver. Today, you're going to hear from Co-Chair Ivan Bebeck, CEO Peter Dembicki, and of course, SVP of Exploration, David Smithson, with news that should cut through all the headwinds and move this company forward. And we at Financial Survival Network are extremely pleased to break the news first. Gentlemen, thanks for taking a break from what I know is an incredibly hectic schedule to sit down with me and discuss the significance of today's news release, which of course you can find at tier1silver.com. Hey, while you're there, I urge you to sign up for notifications because they're going to be coming at a faster rate now, and you don't want to miss out. So, Peter, just briefly tell us what's going on here and the significance of today's news release, and then we'll hear from David, and you'll explain the technical things about why we need to be excited.
Absolutely. Good to see you again, Kerry. Thanks for having us. So I had a chance to visit Curabaya recently, have feet on the ground, really take in the entire site, see how big this property is, the size, the scale, the strength of everything we're seeing. The drills were turning when I was there, and to finally have results back and what we're seeing out of the results is massively encouraging to us. So it's now that the lab is being inundated with our drill cores, we're going to start seeing results coming back to the market and coming back to us, time and time again now over the next few months, leading all the way through February. So really encouraged by what we've seen out of this first drill result. And it's provided us with a ton of information on how to focus our next holes and really target the high-grade feeders that we're after.
All right. And David, so just tell us briefly what you found here. Obviously, this is the first hole. As I've heard many seasoned mining company executives say in a new project, the first hole is the most important, and This was a big one.
Yeah. No, it's been a journey, Kerry. I mean, we've come onto the project now, and we've been working it since we identified it on a stream set. So to get the very first hole, to bring it through that process of exploration all the way to the maiden hole into a project, it's like a one in a million for an explorer. And it's what we do it for. And we drilled the first hole and we saw hallmarks of system. We saw really encouraging fluid flow in the rocks. They're very well altered. And we see signs that there's more to it. It's a much bigger system. We know that it's got hallmarks of being related to an intrusive system. We saw that in the drilling, and we also saw really good veins, and we saw good widths of veins, which is really important. And we drilled the first hole close to a structure, which we're mapping and sampling on surface right now. And we saw excellent fluid flow away from it in the drill hole, and we saw some really encouraging numbers in the geochem as well. So I'm really excited about the result. I'm really excited about what we saw in the drill hole. Has strength of system, and it's showing that larger high-grade footprint on surface has got something in the third dimension. It has alteration. It has mineralogy. It has ruby silver in it. We see the mineralogy, and we're learning, and we're adapting our program. We're adapting our models. We're adapting our ideas, and reorientating the drill so we can go and better understand and better drill structures. And for example, on the fourth hole here, this is our best hole to date. And we're in a new structure that is being drilled for the first time. We know that there's at least 5 feeder structures that we're going after. We've been showing those in the trenches that they're real. They've got real widths on them, and we're systematically drilling under them. And on the fourth hole here, we've hit feeder on the fourth hole, and we're seeing really good veining, and the alteration's even stronger. So we're learning. It's exciting, and there's more results coming. Good results coming.
All right. Well, that's definitely encouraging, and obviously you signed up on this project for a reason. You were excited about it, and everything you've seen. How does that confirm your initial impressions, or is it even bigger than you thought?
1,000%. It confirms everything we've been thinking, and it's opened the door to all the possibilities of blue sky we've been discussing, because we know that there's a big chargeability feature down there. I mean, we drilled the first hole down through that chargeability feature, and the system has sulfide all the way through it. The challenge now is to get into that ball of chargeability and find the structures. And that's why we've been reworking the geophysics, reinserting the physical properties from the drilling into the geophysics and resolving structure more. And so we've been really successful to do that. And I think hole 4 here is going to be testament to that effort. So in terms of what it could be, the hole's confirmed what it can be. It can be anything still. It's everything still on the table, and definitely haven't seen a system with this sort of footprint on the surface, haven't seen a system with this kind of grade on surface. And now we've got a deep drill hole in it that has mineralization from top to bottom in it. And now it's just about getting to structures and getting the beautiful intercept.
So Peter, I know that it takes a certain amount of time to drill a hole, and then the assay labs take their sweet time getting you the results back. What are you anticipating news flow to be from this point forward?
Yeah, sure thing. I know there's some things that we can control operationally and corporately, and relay the messages as fast and effectively as we can to our shareholders and investors. However, there are some things that are out of our hands we can't control, such as turnaround time in the labs. It's been frustrating for us to see, but that's part of how it all works. So we have 3 holes completed with the assays at the lab being analyzed right now. Approaching halfway through hole 4, we have more sampling, more trenching being done to expand our footprint, to enhance our footprint. Plus, let's not forget, our second flagship property, Hurricane, is going to be coming to light really soon here. And this has the potential to be Curubaya-esque, I would say. It is extremely high grade and so many possibilities and potential with that property as well. So again, our portfolio approach is not only for risk mitigation, but also to give our shareholders and investors multiple world-class swings, which Ivan is familiar with that portfolio approach.
Hey, so Ivan, I'm sure you're feeling vindicated at this point. All your hard work. I mean, I feel like I've been with you since the beginning. In fact, I have since you first acquired Curubaya, and prior to the spin-offs of the companies. And we always knew that there was something major here, something significant, and yet the market is like. It would be bad enough if it shrugged, but it's worse than indifference. I mean, if somebody doesn't like you, that's one thing, but indifference is the hardest thing to deal with.
Sure, Kerry. Look, it's great to be here. And first, I want to comment on the market. And we get a lot of criticisms, and our stocks are volatile, and they have underperformed in the last few months, or the last 10 months, if you look at Fury, our other company. Look, the bottom line here, people have to really take note of is majors who are making money hand over fist, record earnings, record dividends, buying back their shares are down 40% in the last 12 months. And if you have to understand that those market conditions destroy the junior sentiment. And we get to deal with a new problem that usually gets dealt with at the top of the bull market, which is slow assay labs. So ask me what my biggest complaint is. It's not the quality of work. It's not the quality of opportunity. It's the time of getting data in a really, really tough market condition. Good news is, I think that's changing here in September. I mean, you see it today in the last few days here, starting to shift and turn around. I think we've bottomed, and we're going to see a new turn up on the market side of things, which is great. But it's not why I'm doing this. I'm not trying to play a good market here. We're trying to find world-class discoveries, right? The bigger you look for something, the harder it is to get there. This first hole at Curibaya, for me, it was real simple. Yes, we wanted to drill across the feeder. Yes, we wanted to drill kilos across meters. No, we didn't do that. We drilled the smoke versus the fire. We said in the beginning, this could take a few holes to make the discovery, or it could take one hole, to show that it's there, several holes to miss it. What we've learned in the first hole is the system is real. The rocks are real. The mineralization is real. The age of the event that happened, the neighboring mines next door being on this big trend, all of this is real. You just heard Dave talk about everything that we wanted to see is there, and it's actually better than we thought it would be. Now, we don't have the exact grade and width drilled yet. Hole 2 and 3 look really good. We don't know. No one's ever drilled this before, how things are going to run, but we do know hole 4 is crossing those feeders. We are adjusting permits so we can cross several of these feeders. We've probably mapped about 5 or 6 big feeder structures in this one area that all have this high bonanza grade. And all of our drill pads, as you can see in our press release, are going to cross those. So going forward, my question as the largest shareholder of the company was, are we in a real system or not? We are absolutely in a real system. Towards the price and the share price performance, we've been, and I'll use Canadian prices, we opened at $1.90 Canadian. We're down to 95 cents or $1 Canadian. Nothing has changed fundamentally on the public material disclosure, except that we found out more about our project, and our fundamentals have actually gotten tremendously better with today's news release saying we're in a real system. We have a gentleman on our board. His name is Antonio Ribas, and I actually got on a plane to fly to El Paso to sit for lunch with him and talk about this first hole the other day. And the first thing he did, and his background is the former VP of Geosciences for BHP, and he carried the same role with Newmont previously, 2 of the largest mining companies in the world. The first thing he did was compliment the work, and he was ecstatic over the first hole. He pointed out that the type of mineralizations there, I'm not going to get too scientific, it's real. You're in a real system. It's a really big system. And his feedback is he's most impressed by how big the footprint is that we get to drill under for the next 12 months. There's going to be a lot to discover. There's going to be a lot of misses along the way till we get it right. I think that, speculating from where I see it, hole 2 and 3 could have it, but definitely hole 4, as Dave mentioned, we're seeing ruby silver. We're seeing way stronger veins in around the feeder structures. This looks amazing. So from that perspective, Carrie, it's been a tough road to get here. I don't mind it because I want to go for that big reward. We're not looking to find a million ounces equivalent of gold or 2. We're looking to find 20, 30 million ounces of gold, but in silver terms, right? We're looking for a world beater here. And so, yeah, it's going to take a bit of time, but I don't think it'll take long before we start hitting those grades. When we hit that first vein, very important to know this, you drill down that vein and you follow it to source. And that's how you find your big porphyritic intrusion, which we now think is absolutely present. When we find that, then we go drill the 2-kilometer holes and see if we can just deliver the full, both of what we advertise could be here. Dave said very well, there is open possibilities to all the blue sky that we talked about. What he's talking about there, he's saying there's porphyritic opportunities as well as precious metal opportunities. We could have both. So for me, it's a 10 out of 10. I know it's smoke. I know the market's going to want to see grade. I don't care about that. The company has over $9 million in the treasury. It has the most exciting holes pending and in front of it. Every hole we drill, we look at every meter of core with the most extreme anticipation possible. It's really hard to drill this project because of how much possibility you have in each meter. But that's really going to be the case for us for the next 6 to 12 months because of how big the system is and how rich the grade is on surface.
Yeah, and you will live up to the name Tier 1 Silver, I'm sure.
The opportunity, by all means. I mean, to take one more thing, and I've seen the comments about, oh, your market cap's here and, you're there. I'm going to go buy cheaper stocks or a few things that can offer the same return. They cannot. Nobody's dealing with a 20-kilometer bonanza grade system on surface on a world-class belt. There's nobody out there in the marketplace that has that. If you like size, if you like grade, and if you want to be on a world-class trend where some of the world's largest mines occur, that's what Curibaya is all about. It's the same age as those events occurred. It's mineralized top to bottom. We drilled a bit of smoke right beside a feeder vein that we're permitting to drill across, and we're crossing feeder structures in hole 4. So extremely exciting, extremely clear path forward. I've got goosebumps as I'm talking to you here because I think we're going to make that big discovery we advertised to do. By all means, there's risk here, Kerry, and without saying that, I would be completely, into too much blue sky left field. The risk here is time. I think that we've now learned that it's there. It's just going to be, do you get there in hole 2, hole 3, hole 4, hole 6, or hole 11? That opinion, that feeling, the confidence that we have is parallel with Antonio Rivas on our board. You can look at his bio, and some other consultants that we work with when we get really excited on a project that look at things from a third-party perspective. This is the strength of the system is really strong. The fluid flow is really powerful. This really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that just turned the corner in the most positive direction. A negative result would have been drilling a bunch of fresh rock and young rock that looks like the sidewalk or your kitchen countertop that had no exciting veins. That did not happen. We drilled the most exciting rock we could with smoke and indications that to keep drilling, and it's going to be there.
Hey, well, you once told me, Ivan, you live and you die by the drill.
Absolutely. I mean, but there's a lot more holes here before we die. And Peter pointed out Hurricane Silver, which rivals the opportunity here in Tier 1 Silver always has. It's about to get access here in the next few weeks, and we're going to have 2 premier world-class silver opportunities being drilled as we go into this rising bull market, which we think is finally about to start.
Pretty exciting, that's for sure. And when you think about all the challenges you've been through, this is unprecedented what has happened across the world. And then when you think of every commodity except precious metals is at or near record highs. They've gone literally parabolic. And you look and you see gold and silver, it's like, oh, that stuff. And it's really kind of shocking. But I think we are at the tail end of this indifference to the most effective store of value that has been known to man since we started recording history here. So this could be the big one. In any event, Peter. So we're going to be hearing more about these holes, and they're in the lab now. Just to reiterate the time frame, we looking 30, 60, 90 days ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, so the process is we drill the hole, we receive core as we go along, and we log it, we inspect it, we tag it, we send it to the lab, and we're sending it to the lab in batches of 150 meters at a time. So we're not inundating the lab with 600 meters of core to do all at once. So as we receive results back, we're able to compile data, and we're doing the same with our further rock sampling, further trenching, channel sampling that allows us to really hone in on the next targets as we go along. So now that we have a ton of rock, ton of core in the labs right now, these results will be filtering out over the next few months. And we're going to get a lot more news out of our other projects as well. So if we could get everybody all the data immediately today, of course we would. As Ivan spoke to, it's the delay that's killer. Kerry, you mentioned it, living and dying by every meter of core. Well, yeah, this I'm certainly experiencing some of that, and got the gray hairs to prove it as well. So it's certainly exciting, and it's a great time for Tier 1. Again, we have the address, we have the size and scale, we knew that. And this first drill hole really confirms that we have the strength of the system. And this is just the beginning. This has never been drilled before, ever. And so we're learning a ton, and we couldn't be more excited.
All right. Well, that's great to hear. Ivan, so you think it's clear sailing ahead, or at least, I guess you never know in this business what's going to happen, but you're feeling pretty upbeat that basically all these distractions and delays and just diversions are kind of behind us.
Look, I've been through 2 substantial discoveries before. We found 5 million ounces in Ghana. And I can tell you it was our 7th project in a company that Sean and I were running. And the drama, the market challenges, they were not dissimilar to what we're seeing here. And when that first hole came in, that told us it was there. That it was exactly what you said. A lot of smooth sailing forward. Now that company went to 575 before the '08 correction, which I think could happen at some point in the next 2 years to us here. And then it went down to 49 cents. 14 months later, it was $9 per share. That's the kind of return we're advocating for, much bigger scale here than we did there. In terms of Caden, where we were in the middle of the bear market, we started to get on a discovery with Dave here in Mexico. It was very, very similar. The volatility of emotions increase as the market performs poorly in the sector you're in. But when the emotions are really high and there's so much volatility in those emotions, it's really a good sign that you're near a major discovery, having been there twice before, right? So the last point I'll make in terms of the market and where we've been, listening on Friday about how record stock market prices, Japan, Asia, the Dow, things are peaking in all clean forms. And that is the hardest market for us to perform in on the resource sector. Demand of metals is going through the roof on copper, on silver. The advocacy towards inflation, the reason why gold should go out has never been stronger. The disconnect in fundamental value, not just of exploration opportunities like we have here, but in actual major mining companies and how they're performing, is the largest gap I've ever seen. And I think there's going to be a massive reversal sometime soon. So this is not a market to trade. You can try and trade discovery. If I wasn't an insider, I wouldn't trade discovery. I'd own a large position because I'm aggressive, and I'd wait. And my questions would always be, what does Dave think? What does the geologist think? Is this getting better or is this getting worse? And that's been my question to Dave since day one. And every time I've asked him that, and he said it here today, it's gotten dramatically better. Every challenge that was thrown at this project of how it could not be there is answered with a very, very positive factual result. So big discoveries, they're not for everybody. I will say that. They're going to be volatile. Just because the stock price go down does not mean the fundamentals went down. And unfortunately, a lot of people measure our success or potential success by the share price. When we come out with the big hole, it's going to be a huge surprise and everyone's going to wake up, and those who don't own it are going to have a hard time buying it. And I've seen this before in other discoveries. I saw it in Keegan when it took off. And so my advice is, it's a lottery ticket that's more than worth it. You're going to have 2 super lotto opportunities between Curibaya and also Hurricane Silver here very shortly, which positions us as one of the most well-positioned companies out there. And the last comment I'll make, Carrie, is just how hard we work. So everyone looks at our share prices. Everyone looks at the market. Everybody commiserates with, this is not going well. I thought it would be better. And this must be not there. I must be missing something. No. The bottom line is we push 18-hour days. Dave and I, Peter, the team, we're emailing at 3 a.m. because we're working. We're emailing at 4 a.m. because we're finding new things. This is how hard we work to make sure we can get ahead of that discovery. That the knock we have is time to assays. That's the only thing. It's not our fault, but we're going to do what we can to learn as much as we can so that we can be more efficient on every hole we drill going forward. Dave and his team have done a fantastic job. The compliments we've gotten about the quality of work is next to none. And the last thing, and the most important thing you've heard Dave say today, is that they constantly change their model. A lot of geologists get stuck into a model. They drill it. They keep testing the model. 12 holes later, they get to a result and it's there, it's not there. Dave and his team are live. They change, they're in the moment with the data, and watching the revelations go in 1 week since we got that first bit of core assay results back here was outstanding. And seeing where the team is now and what they're saying and the possibilities being discussed, it got better and it got a lot more real for us now. So yeah, we were speculating up until this first hole, and we are speculating with a lot more conviction here going forward.
All right. Well, maybe others will be surprised, but I certainly will not be. And I'll be looking very keenly forward to getting the latest results. I'm on the list. And if you're not on the list, go over to tier1silver.com and sign up for notifications, like I said, because they're going to be coming fast. And the ticker symbols in the US, it's TSLVF. And of course, in Canada, TSLV. Gentlemen, really appreciate your taking time out from your busy days to speak with us on it. And I know we'll be speaking a lot in the future, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Kerry.
Mining Stock Wealth.